What the heck?
Well, that's all I want for Christmas is another chance. Another chance. Hold on.
Christmas, darling.
You're watching Fun with Bob and Lynn, except you're not watching and you're listening to Fun with Bob and Lynn on Christmas Day. What are you doing listening anyway? You should be with your family. But you're instead with us, but that's okay. We are honored that you trust us tonight for Fun with Bob and Lynn. For Fun with Bob and Lynn.
Oh boy.
For Fun with Bob and Lynn. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, everyone. Good night. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait, we just started. Hello, how are you? Did you have a good Christmas?
That's way too far away from me, Lynn. They'll never hear me.
Oh, here, sorry.
Here, I'll hold it.
Yeah,
I'll hold. No, I got this. All right.
I got it.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so we were just sitting here. Actually, that's a lie. I shouldn't start this relationship with a lie. We were lying here. That's right.
You're lying, Bob.
And it's 8.
Lying
just so you know, whether
all
you're
the time,
whether you're listening to us live, which all right, or replay, it is 8:22 p.m. on Christmas night, 2016.
Yes.
And we're laying in bed, literally about to sleep.
Literally.
We would have gone to sleep if we weren't doing this. So that's how tired we are. We were up a lot of last night because we were in a room that we were just I would just all caveats, because if we tell the story of the day, it's going to come out that we were staying with your sister's place.
That's correct.
And I don't, and if she ever hears this, I don't in any way want her to think that we're not gracious, because she was an amazing hostess for us. She went so far above and beyond.
She did.
It was just, she made it so easy looking for us to be there. She will schlep stuff around, not ask for help, and just be transparent. I have to go, hey, can I help you with that? You know, she was just committed to us having an amazing time. And the planning that she did was just right. It wasn't over the top. So hooray.
Yeah.
So that's the caveat. We just happened to be really cold in the room that we were in, and it was because I think that room normally has access to the heater that's running in the hall.
She never told us that we just should have kept the door open.
But we should have?
Yep.
Oh, you already had this conversation with her?
I did.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, the heat comes from that heater in the hall.
So she probably was laughing like, oh my God,
open.
You guys were cold the whole time?
And she said, well, because you had your door closed. I'm like, well, we have our door closed because you told us to keep our door closed.
Yeah.
Because of the cats and Cody.
Right.
But we just should have kept our door open.
And then just let the hall door close.
We could have had
but
heat.
I don't know if that, okay, well, yes, I wish we would have done that.
Because we were icicles and had to sleep
so,
all night. It was so bone chilling. You were
talking the story of when you climbed Mount Whitney, and I have my own story of, this was nothing like climbing Mount Whitney, but I went camping one time with a group of people, and we all had our own tents. It was just a big party, and it was 26 degrees, and I was ill prepared. I did not plan for this, and I was in this tent. So cold, like what you were talking about in being in Mount Whitney, although it was probably much colder where you were.
Well, it was much colder. I mean, I was prepared, but even with being everything prepared, and it was being
that's
cold,
what it felt like.
I could not shake off the cold, even with everything, and I could not sleep at all, and the altitude.
So last night it probably wasn't quite as bad as that was. Each of our respective experiences, but it was freaking cold.
My gosh.
And it was so like cold. Any exposed skin was just like, no, we have to figure out a way to breathe and not, because our heads were right by the window. And I'm going, she can't possibly sleep like this every night. And now we know, of course, no, she doesn't. There's a heater there for a reason. Because it's clearly an older house. The house is, the design of the heater is like, wow. I mean, seriously, I'd like to know what year. It's like it's built into the wall, and it comes out both sides of the wall.
Right.
And it's and it's hot. It's really hot when you're next to it, but it just ages the house,
Yeah.
So I don't know how old the house is. And I was also noticing outside she has a fence, like a wire fence.
Right.
And there's this tree vine thing happening, all intertwined in the fence, that has clearly been there for decades. I mean, it's just got control. It is the fence now. But you can still see the fence in there. If it's not decades, it's at least
I'm sure it's
decade
decades.
and a half.
It
But
has
I mean,
to be.
it's
Yeah.
I should have taken a picture of it because it was really but I know we'll be there a lot, but it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
The story of that, and like people living in those homes had to see that happening, and it's just saying, well, we're just going to go with this. We're not going to. Somebody made a decision. Somebody said, we will not cut this off, and we're going to let it grow. And now, of course, if you move in, you're not going to touch that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a natural fence. It is.
I'm just laughing at somehow we got to a story of a natural fence when we were talking about
this show is half Bob
something
Doyle.
entirely different.
And the Bob Doyle show is all about veering. So just bringing a veering to the Christmas cheering, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just checking in with you.
Cheering and jeering.
If you had been around, I'll peek at the chat. Wouldn't that be something if somebody was there? I know it's there. Of course not. It's Christmas Eve. Christmas evening.
Night. Yep.
If you're listening to this, you've got
I'm glad
messed
we're
up
just doing
priorities.
this for ourselves.
Right, but we're doing this for ourselves. But I also said we should, we can't just record it. We have. Oh, I know. It was like, see, I was thinking it would be great. Boy, now I remember the whole thought process because Lynn and I were we like to talk about our future, and I was saying when I was imagining a future where it would be completely appropriate, given how tired we are, and just kind of this is real intimate setting, that we could just go live with our show. And on Facebook, though, I was talking about like video. And then I said, but that's pretty much like what our podcast is. It's just that, or at least it used to be.
Yeah.
And said, well, let's do it. And I'd clearly thrown down the gauntlet without 100% committing. But then I said, yes.
Because we're so tired, we're going, is this going to translate?
No.
I'm not exactly sure.
No, I wouldn't have suggested it if I didn't think we could actually talk through this and at least entertain ourselves.
Yeah, right.
With a level of interest.
Yeah.
But yet knowing that we're speaking for a listener.
Yeah. If we have a listener.
Well, yeah, but we're still speaking for one. We're assuming that this will be consumed at some point by someone.
So everybody has their own experience of Christmas, but because this is our show and we're reviewing and really doing it for ourselves right now, let's review the gift of what we experienced today.
Yeah, I think in the terms of knowing that this is a broadcast, though, I do want to figure out a way to make it somewhat relatable and not just about you and I talking about our day specifically. I don't know how that's going to happen, by the way. I have no preconceived notion. But I am saying, yes, I want to do that, but I want to figure out a way to make it interesting to this person listening with the headphones on right now.
Awesome. Sweet.
Speaking of headphones. No.
Yeah.
Do we have to tell the day in chronological order?
Nope.
Okay, good. Even though we do tend to do that. Overall, I'll say this. My leading up to Christmas this year was probably one of the most stressful lead-ups to Christmas I've had, certainly since 2012, which could possibly be the second most. But this year, I definitely was way bent out of shape about Christmas, as Lynn will tell you.
Oh, yeah.
And it all kind of came together.
Losing sleep over it.
That
much bent out of shape.
Yes. And it's been a pattern for some years, but this was, okay, Lynn, I think they get the message. You want to point them to a video you took while I was doing that?
Falling into a heap on the floor. I'm just kidding. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, it all came together in the last 48 hours. And the whole thing of Christmas, once I got over what I needed to get through, then I was totally relaxed with it and was able to enjoy all of it and really appreciate, like what we said earlier, what Susie, the environment that she created. And then just the company and I don't know, it just was very relaxed, I think. And I felt very comfortable because, as the listener may know, at 4 years into this relationship at this point, right?
4.5.
So this would be our fourth Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the evolution of my relationship with your family
Right.
has, just continues to get better and better, which I love.
My family so loves and adores Bob. I mean, they have officially adopted him. They just worship him.
Well, the feeling
And God
is
forbid,
totally
if
mutual.
anything were to have ever happened between Bob and me, Bob would still be part of the family.
And that would make Christmases awkward, but
But I'm just saying, it's like, sorry, you're part of the family no matter what. You are stuck with our family.
So she may as well just stay with me then, I figure.
That's
Because
right.
she's going to be seeing me anyway.
Exactly. So.
Anyway, so I want to, at some point I have to tell the story of the most perfect gift.
Yes.
I can do it now.
Do it
Okay,
now.
so for my birthday a handful of years ago, we went to, I guess, Steve's or whatever, and they had a birthday party for me, and this is the first time I'd had this Kahlua cake. Now, if you follow me on Facebook at all, you've seen me post pictures of this Kahlua cake, and you know that from the time that I've had it, I'm like, oh my God, and specifically frozen, by the way. But so I've had this Kahlua cake at events where Karen, Lynn's mom, has made it. And then last year, Easter or whatever the gathering was, it just occurred to me, Bob, you could learn to make this and you wouldn't have to wait. You could just make this cake whenever you wanted. So I asked for the recipe. She gave it to me, and we've had that cake in our freezer. Oh, I've made 14.
You've counted how many?
Yes, I have counted them. I've made 14 of these cakes since that time. We're never without them. I think the most we've been is with a day without the cake in the house. I eat it every day. And so, needless to say, it's one of my favorite cakes.
That's awesome.
And then, so I did it a little bit differently than she did. Just tweaked a couple of the ingredients, just ever so slightly. And Lynn went off on how great it was and thought it might be better than the original. And has been selling this version of the cake to her mom for a long time. So then her mom at Thanksgiving, wanted to get the ingredients so I could make it, but she didn't get the secret ingredients. Basically, she couldn't find. So she still hadn't had it until yesterday. I brought some over.
What did she think?
I made the cake. Well, of course she gushed on it, but I mean, what else should she do? I never got to see
her gush on it. Oh, yay!
Anyway,
did she? Did she think it was better?
No, she didn't say that, and I wouldn't expect her to. And not that because she just doesn't think like that. Because her version is awesome, and it is still and always will be awesome. And the only difference really with ours is it's a little richer because of the dark. We use a lot more dark chocolate, and that's really
and chunks
and chunks instead of chips. Anyway, so
and
got to enjoy all that cake.
Instead of Kahlua.
So that's true. We use a different. Rather than a full-on Kahlua, we use just the straight-up coffee liqueur, which is cheaper and Lynn likes better.
Yep.
So now that you know our secrets, there goes that business idea. So anyway, we all got to enjoy the cake yesterday. So now we're opening presents today, and Lynn's mom gives me this one, and it's heavy. And I'm going, and she goes, this is like a kit I'm giving you. Now I know this, I'm telling you this way too close to the story I just told you so you can fill in the blanks. But I looked at the tissue paper and there is ingredients for at least 4 or 5 cakes. And my hands go up in the air like, yes, this is just
he went freaked out like he was his favorite sports team just won the World Cup. I mean, he went nuts.
It was just the greatest thing to be like, yes, cake for months. I don't have to. So anyway, it was like the perfect. It was just great. It was just and I immediately realized how I was over enjoying the receipt of cake ingredients, cake mix, but I didn't care because it was just on so many levels. That was a great gift, just a great thoughtful gift from her, the originator of the recipe, or she gave it to us anyway from wherever she got it. To then, it just, I don't have to fill in the blanks for you people. It's an obvious story. She gave me cake mix. Come on. The end. Ta-da.
It was just that you had such delight over that as if you just won the lottery. I mean, It was so charming. It was awesome. It was
Yeah.
a special moment. Had to be there, but that was awesome. Yeah.
So I've been talking a lot, Lynn. I think it's...
But, you always have to do your up top 7 minutes.
That's right. How long has it been? Hold on.
I don't know. You're about to find
Well,
out.
this would have been an up top 15 minutes.
Oh, well. Well, you
Holy
got
crap, I've
double
been
the time.
talking
It's
a
Christmas.
long time.
I decided to give it to you.
Thank you, babe. That was a great
Sure,
gift.
hon. You got it anytime. No, our family's a little bit divided because we have half that live up north and half down here. And so it would have been great to all be together. But my mom and then my sister and my sister's daughter, who is my niece, and Bob and I. And to just be able to experience Santa. And Sophia is she was just a delight. She was full of love and enthusiasm and a giving spirit, which you just love when you see that in a kid. And I'm trying to think. It was really the thoughtfulness of the gifts that everybody gave each other. It wasn't like it was there were some really amazing, generous gifts, but it was more the thought of everything, don't you think?
That's a good point. All the gifts were well thought out, and they didn't have to be expensive.
Right.
They were just like cake mix.
Right.
Right? I mean,
Right.
that's freaking thought out.
Right.
And how you think out all your gifts for, your sister and all this other stuff, and how they clearly do that. I mean, you guys are just a thoughtful freaking family, and so that's really nice, and it's cool that Sophia is growing up in that environment and can hopefully take that kind of spirit into her experience of Christmas and family and all that. God, I feel like I feel like I'm like a Perry Como Christmas special right now. Well, I couldn't get more white bread about what I'm talking about.
That was lovely, Bob.
All right.
Look, you're allowed to be nice. You're allowed to have a heart. You don't have to be a Grinch all the time.
Are you suggesting that I am heartless on this show most of the time? I think, look, our valued listeners would disagree. They would never. All these people wouldn't be tuning in if they didn't think I had a heart. He said no one was listening.
If you do a show and no one listens, is it
still
a show?
Are you still doing a show?
Is it still a show? Still considered a show? Or is it just indulging?
Well, here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that. As soon as anyone other than us hears that, it's a show. So
let's just go pay some people.
But why can't we be the audience of our own show?
Oh well, let's listen to this as soon as we're done.
We will because we always do. You insist on it. This
Yep.
has been this way since the beginning.
So hi to us as we listen.
So you have to understand that the time investment for this show is not the length of the show, but in fact double that.
That's correct.
Because
always
we have to now listen to it.
It's a rule.
Even the uncomfortable ones.
Yeah.
And we've had some of those.
Yep. But then we're glad we watched.
Are we?
Bob.
I think we are. I can't remember.
Really?
We haven't listened back to an uncomfortable one in a while. In fact, I had to bail on the Bob Doyle Show episode 50 replay with a van in a box. That was a tough one.
Oh, I enjoyed that.
It didn't look like you were enjoying it. No, sir. You look at your face. For the one who is all about no matter what, smile. No matter what, smile.
Know what it is? I have that face of I look like consternation
when you're concentrating.
When it's concentration.
Yeah.
And because the screens were all about reading comments or reading the chords.
I guess so.
Or looking at whatever, I'm concentrating. So I look like I'm going to kill somebody. Because that's
the tone of the conversation was
like when I focus.
But the tone of the conversation was kind of tense, so that it would make sense that you would respond in that way. If whatever, we just that whole thing is we just should have talked about it first and had a plan. And as soon as we started it, I realized, oh no.
It was fine.
I do not think it was fine, but whatever.
Oh, no.
But I was happy to. But did we be live on that one too? Does that mean that the replay that we have is the low quality? I can't remember if we did. I can't remember. I don't know if I would have done Be Live because I already was dealing with so many screens because of Band in a Box. I think if I was too Wirecast.
Yeah, I don't think you were doing it. Yeah.
So I have a local recording of it too. So I guess
Jeez.
Anyway. The good old days of last week.
Great.
Or 2 weeks ago, or however long it was. So how about all of you? Just fill in chats. What was your experience from Christmas? She's pinching my lips together, by the way, because oddly, she knows I like it.
Well, you and Cody were snuggling the entire time.
Cody, I forgot to
Cody's
mention
your dog.
the whole...
And as much as I could, I massaged your face the whole time, because you like your face to be squeezed and pulled and massaged.
And I have this poor excuse for a beard, and somehow it just, when my beard is scratched, it feels so good, even though it's not really a beard. Could we get any more intimate than this on the show? Well, we could, but then we'd have to change the rating of the program. And that's
we already have an adult rating, so.
We have on our Fun with Bob and Lynn app.
By the way, go download at your nearest app store.
It's not yet, as we record
free.
this, it's not yet in the iOS store. And there's
it's in Android and Amazon.
It will be in iOS. There's just some kind of weird revision I have to do, and I'm dependent on another entity at this point to do something. So, yeah, or something. So I think something goofed in the submission process itself that was not part of my step, and I think that's how they got the wrong signal on something when it got to Apple, and they said, we're looking for this, it's not here. I'm like, that's because it's not, whatever.
That should be,
all the other apps I've done have been submitted on my end the same way, and they've had no problem. So I think something happened somewhere along the line that I didn't have a control
over.
But I'm having to chase that down, right? And because it's the holiday, there's a delay.
Oh yeah.
So once I get that resubmitted, it could be another 5 days. iOS is slow, but anyway, Fun with Bob and Lynn app.
Point is,
it's gonna kick ass when it's out. It's just a way for you to listen to all the Fun with Bob and Lynn's, both the audio stuff and the video stuff.
Anything and everything we do in one place.
That we've done for the past 4.5 years.
And you to interact with each other and us on the fan wall.
It's funny, I was listening to our first...
Connect to our other stuff we have.
I was listening to our first show, and we had a call. We actually got a call from somebody on our first show. I think it was a Blog Talk. And somebody just happened to call, and I'm trying to remember what the topic was.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we had a real conversation with somebody. And I think that was the only time until we did Skype stuff with like Eva Gregory and that kind of thing. I don't think anybody ever called except for that one time.
I wish we could make that happen.
Well.
How do we do that?
What? Which make what happen? Just
do a spontaneous broadcast like this and be able to take calls.
Oh, well, we can't do it through Spreaker like this. Oh, we got it. Look at that. Somebody's in the room.
Hello.
Well, they're just putting up a phone number, so we're going to just...
Oh, well, we can't call. We're talking about calling in. But I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
That'd be so great if we could take you on. Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So, there's somebody out there.
But thanks for listening.
Yes. Hope you had a happy holiday.
Oh, completely.
So anyway, where were we?
Don't know.
Oh, we were talking about the app. So,
yes,
so person who has joined us.
Amcog.
If you want to learn more about Fun with Bob, I did do a little bit of tweaking on the actual Fun with Bob and Lynn page so that it's not 100% embarrassing. And it really wasn't as bad as I thought. I'd forgotten that I'd gone in there and done some work on it already. So there's stuff I want to change. For some reason, I can't change like the background image to make like the clouds to be more with our branding. It's the Divi theme's wacky, but you can go back there and you can see a lot of the archives too. So it's not. It's actually.
No, you got to do it through the app once the app's out.
Once the app's out, that will be most definitely the most practical way to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
But I was saying for those listening, if they gave a rat's ass about Fun with Bob and Lynn.
You just swore.
No, I think rat's ass is...
I just swore.
I think they teach that in elementary school now.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's...
I guess that's tolerated.
It's like... boy walks, and then rat's ass. Yeah. It's like primary material. And by primary, I mean, primary school.
Oh, God.
Merry Christmas to you.
Aw, sweet. That's awesome.
AKCOG.
Is it AK?
Is he holding a fish?
AK Cog.
I can't see what that is.
Da-da.
It looks like
Big
it might
bass.
be a big fish.
Looks like a huge fish. That's awesome.
Big fish. Have you seen it? It seems like somebody just asked you that.
Big fish.
Big Fish with Albert Finney.
No.
Holy crap, Lynn! That's
need to
one.
see that movie.
That is one that next time we can't figure out what movie or whatever.
Yeah. Big fish.
We have to find that and watch
Okay.
it. You will love it.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
It's odd and quirky, but it tells a great story, and
Awesome.
I just think you'll like it if you stay awake.
So,
It took you 3 times to watch Alice in Wonderland,
so true.
and it has a whimsical, fantastical quality like that. So I'm just moving back over here.
I know. I know.
About it as well. So Big Fish, yes. If you haven't seen it, we have to.
We shall.
All right, now back to Christmas.
Yeah, no, it's just so great being Cody, our dog, all snuggled up, just loving. You and I getting to cuddle, being with Susie and Sophia, laughing, and my
All the
mom.
way.
Ha ha ha.
And then there were the bells on my tail.
My mom. And then Molly, which is my other sister who's up north.
I missed that call completely.
My nephew, Gunnar. They called in, and he's 2.5 years old. And he kept saying, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. They said, say ho, ho, ho. And he called me Santa because I was wearing a Santa hat. He said, Auntie Lynn. But then he kept calling me Santa, say ho, ho, ho.
What was I doing? I came and
You're on the phone with one of your family members.
Right. Because
Yeah.
that's another thing I got to do. I got to connect with
Yeah.
all of my kids today, even though Catherine and I, we didn't have a face-to-face. We did with them the other day, and we did text this morning. So, I think, yeah. So it was just good all around. It seemed like a long day though, didn't it? It was like,
oh gosh, we make it. There's a good and a bad to how we do it. It gets to really savor the experience of the gift opening. Everyone focused on one person opening a gift. People wanting to just kind of luxuriate in it, not leaping on it in a time.
that's how I always did it growing up.
But so that makes it just, you get to really dive into the experience. It makes it last. But then the bad side of it is it can just feel like this is taking forever.
Yes, and Lynn does complicate it for herself because she started a tradition.
Oh, God.
Which, by the way, my sister thought sounded super fun.
Oh,
which is
cool.
It's so up her alley. Which is this whole scavenger hunt thing.
Called treasure hunt. Yeah.
I've heard both terms used. But it involves Lynn, writing these elaborate rhyming clues and things like that so that one present leads to the other, and she has to kind of sleuth it out a little bit. So, and everybody seems to really enjoy that, except Lynn waits till the last freaking minute. For as long as I've known her, it's been Christmas Day that she's doing it, or late Christmas Eve. But I think Christmas Day.
I can't do it till I'm there.
Well, that's true because it's an on location. She has to be able to look at the hiding places and know how to do it. All right, well, there you go. But like I said, she's created a tradition for herself that's complicated. Well, not complicated. It's just that last minute
It's
sort of
time involved.
trying to find time to do it, like during the course of the day. Like the day there has to be a whole period where she has to do this. But it actually works out.
Well, I either stay up, which I will never do again, but I would stay up till I got it done, and then sometimes be up till 2 a.m. So late. Or like today, as you were about to say, it works out because it was long and drawn out, which was wonderful getting to see Sophia, love all her massive stocking and all her presents and things. But I got to be connected with all of that, but also kind of, when I would think of a line or something to say, write it in the script.
Right. So she was actually you were actually writing during the gift opening process, and you did miss some things. I think a couple of times, right? Like he was like, but then like when you were cutting up the piece, then she prints them out on pieces of paper, and then Sophia finds them. So there's some work that has to be done with cutting things out, and that seemed to happen when Sophia was off, either eating something or playing
after
with
we do all our presents for each other, and after everyone's done everything, then we have lunch. The very last thing is then after lunch is the treasure hunt. And that way, during lunch, at some point or towards the end or right after lunch, Sophia goes in her room, and then I set up everything for it. So that's how that works.
Right. Last year, instead of her writing clues and printing and all of that stuff, it was put upon me, which it sounded like I was resistant to it, obviously, on some level anyway. But I thought, okay, I can do this. But it was like I was supposed to just, based on where Lynn hid them, in the moment, come up with like 2 or 3 lines on the uke to sing, to give some clue. Like I was supposed to spontaneously do this thing that took Lynn a couple of hours to do.
Great.
And I'm realizing I'm not going to be able to do this without like writing this stuff down. So basically it became a project. It was no longer this spontaneous fun thing that's just off the cuff, because I knew I wasn't going to remember.
You basically ended up writing it out.
I had to write it.
Like I would have, except
Right.
that we were going to have you just
and
make
have to
it
come up with different songs to play on the ukulele and sing it and make it rhyme, and so it was just like Lynn. So at 2:00 in the morning, when we couldn't sleep because it was freaking cold.
Last night, not the year before, but last
night. We're talking about the scavenger hunt part of the day, and Lynn says, and we'll just do what we did last year. Now, at that moment, I didn't remember that what we had done, but she said, you and I will do what we did last year, and I immediately got constricted because I'm like, okay, I have to do something, and I don't know what it is, and I probably won't want to do it. That's the rapid succession of my thought at 2 a.m. And then she goes, the whole ukulele, and I'm like, oh no! Number one, I didn't bring my uke, even though they have one, and I would have been forced to use that one, which is, more of a beginner uke. But I was like, I just suddenly remembered that whole. I was sweating. I was just uncomfortable. I just didn't want to do that. It felt like way too much pressure to make it clever and enjoyable or whatever. And I guess as it turned out, it was fine last year, but I just wasn't going to put myself through that this year. So it was all on Lynn to do it, and she did it though, and you did a good job. I mean, she came up with 6 lines of poetry for every gift, and that was 6 gifts, and
with a wrap up afterwards.
Granted, some of the rhythmic, the pentameter or whatever the word, it could use some work here and there, but for the purposes, and Sophia, to her credit, read it in a way that the rhyme came out. So it translated.
Well, I thought you couldn't even hear it. She would mumble the last part of every sentence.
She did.
Going,
she
you
did
guys
speak.
are not hearing this at all.
No, we heard it. You just wanted it to be louder because you wrote it. We
That's
heard it,
true.
But we heard it, but she was quite quiet at first. But the energy picked up as she went along.
Yeah, it's so fun. She got so excited over the M&Ms, jar filled with M&Ms.
That's weird. I don't remember her opening that one.
Because you didn't see it because you were on the couch. And she was
that I didn't see it. I do remember your Susie going, great, more junk food or whatever like that.
Yeah. Well, so get this. So when I was going to that Toys for Tots thing, I went to go buy something. And that's what seemed that could be a boy or girl. I'm going to get that. And it was $12.99. But it said, buy one, get the other one half off or something. So then I was getting 2. But as I was checking out, it wasn't, in my mind, I was thinking, if you get 2, you'll buy one, get one free.
Oh.
So you get 50% off. And they said, no, it's just, the second one will be half off. And I'm like, I don't know that I would get this for Sophia. And that's how I thought, I'll use the second one to give to Sophia. I'm like, nah. Oh, crap. I ended up buying her that, and now at full price. They could have bought it half. That's not that funny, but
Oh, the irony.
Oh, dear.
The M&M irony. That's the best kind of irony, because it's chocolatey and crunchy on the outside. As
dang,
irony,
I
as
love
all
M&Ms
irony should be.
so much.
I'm Bob Doyle, and you've got my word on it. Who used to say that, and you've got my word on it? I'm so-and-so, and you've got my word on it. Remember?
I have no idea.
But does it sound familiar to you?
Somewhat.
Yeah, it does to me too. And I don't know what that's about.
Well, my dear. Moving right along.
All right, back to Christmas. Jing, jing, jingling, jang, Joe. That's the official transition music of the Bob and Lynn 2016 Christmas.
Think of all the different things or ways that people celebrate, or the different dynamics of family, or being by yourself because you're like, everyone's spread out, so we're not getting together. I mean, I've been there. I was on the road one Christmas and by myself.
Well, I wish I had a harp sound effect so we could go back in time and you could describe it in a flashback form. Alas, we do not. You know what? I bet you. I wonder if we do. Hold on. I just want to see.
Okay,
No. I know. I just want to see. I just want to see if we have a harp. We don't.
And how long are we going to take to find it?
Well, a lot longer now, just because you had to be
snarky.
Sure, we'll go with that word about it.
Now, I, of course, lost my train of thought, but...
Well, it serves you right.
Thanks.
Trying to add dimension to the show in sound effect form, and I get... What do I get? And who listens to you? This sound effects machine. I just wanted to add one little sound effect, and it took a second and a half too long for you. You had to call attention to it in front of everybody. Now I'm all embarrassed. I can't show my face around here anymore. I'm going to have to wear a mask. Thank you for the background music. You know, my career is basically over now. Thanks to you. Well, whatever. I'll just scrape my way back up from the bottom again and come back up on top. So, you know what? I'll just bypass that whole going down to the bottom thing and just be right back to where I was. And maybe a little bit further. Certainly further than you.
Well, they say you got to hit rock bottom in order to then truly transform. Or something like that.
They've said that, yeah. But they say so many things.
Yeah, and then they also say a lot of fake news, too. So what do you do?
The previous editorial comment is over.
Hey, speaking of the night before last
Christmas.
night, the Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
We had such a fun thing that Susie set up.
You mean Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
The game thing?
So Susie, my sister, with her daughter, Sophia, they got like 12 gifts or 9 gifts wrapped up and had games to play.
So, can I jump in just 1 second? It's not going to derail.
Go.
If you're a guy named Bob Doyle and you hear anyone say the word games, you just want to disappear. Now back to our story.
Bob,
so
I thought you played games
because
with
we're bored.
your friend.
Because it's all association stuff. It's like, okay, it's all about not knowing what kind of game. It's just those moments, right? Because you know how you've been burned by games, party games that are just like, oh no, oh God, I do not for a million years want to do this. And this is what the great thing about last night is what Susie chose. The activities, the games that she created were like really fun and engaging, even for somebody like me who grumbles at games. Because it didn't ask the borderline one that I'm glad we didn't end up doing because I was not in the mood for charades. That was on the table, and there was a lot of conversation around it happening.
I would have
But
loved
instead we went with the name game, which is a Lynn's game, and I was a little resistant towards it, and I always am, and then I always have fun.
Exactly.
It is a fun game that they created. So in and amongst that of all the game playing, but I'll let you get back to it. But it was just my whole point was that inside I was like, oh boy, games, what is this going to be?
Yeah.
And then it unfolded quite.
Yeah, so she just had really simple games, and she already knew ahead of time Sophia's going to win whatever she wants, so that we can make this fun and there's no drama, and she knowingly and openly said that, and so but we had simple games, like you just said, Bob. We had a thumb wrestling was one of them, and Rochambeau, which is rock, paper, scissors, and just really fun ways we got to play. And
my favorite one was the drawing.
The what? Oh, the drawing. Yeah, you close your eyes, and then you draw something that Princess on a Horse, for instance.
So one person declares to everyone with their eyes closed who has a piece of paper and a pen, okay, you have 45 seconds or whatever to draw whatever. And so she used Princess on a Horse in one time, and then the other one was a car, and then your mom said a car with a clown's head sticking out of it or something. And but you're drawing completely, you cannot see what you're doing. So, and then the object of the game is that the person then you hand all the drawings into the person who said what to draw.
Right.
They are then to guess who did what, right? And then also choose the best.
They're not to guess who did what. They're
I
just
thought
to
that was
say,
part of it. But
which of the pictures is the most compelling? Which picture do they choose wins?
Yeah, and it really wasn't necessarily, and certainly in the case of which one was the best, which one was the most realistic. It was the one that was most compelling, and like that simple one.
The Picasso
one was just a few lines. Like I was trying to do, okay, I knew what I was trying to do, and I was nowhere near it. And the things that were funny about mine is I used such a small part of the paper. Like I was afraid to go anywhere. Everybody else's drawings were much bigger than mine. Anyway.
Yeah, yours ended up like a squiggle because you're blindfolded, so you don't know where you're going. And so you think you're moving, but you're not.
And you're putting body parts in the wrong places and wheels in the wrong places.
To me, I just...
feet
like
and mane.
The princess crowns to the right of her head, and then the pieces are overlapping. The horse head is overlapping her head.
Yes, so it ends up being hilarious. It's actually quite fun because you don't have to worry about it being good because it's blindfolded. Although Lynn, I have to call you out.
Oh,
she was beating herself up about mine sucks. And we're all just looking incredulously at her as if. It's like, we just did this with our eyes closed. This is not in any way, expecting anything to be good. And it was just funny. But then what truly did keep happening to you was you kept getting pens that wouldn't write.
Oh, yes.
And so you were drawing your lines, and then you look at it, and it's didn't even draw.
That's right.
And so now you're trying to draw with another pen, just where you drew before,
right? But
it looks like you're trying to make it better. Anyway, it was she was dealt an interesting ballpoint pen hand last night.
I went through 3 different pens,
right?
And all 3 didn't. Right?
So she got jacked by these pens.
What is up with that?
What's this saying? Are we running out of time?
I don't know. Why?
Time is almost up. Oh, we don't have a full blown account right now.
Oh.
All right, so we got to end this. We got to end this in 2 minutes.
Well, we also had our Christmas special on Facebook Live, and that was the night before Christmas Eve, and we got to really enjoy that. And now experiencing Christmas Eve, that was fun, and then Christmas Day today, fun, thoughtful, connected time. So we hope for you got to enjoy, even if you were just by yourself and getting to have some space and reflection on life. But whatever that is, you got to have a really great time. Bob is getting his ukulele, getting ready to sign off here. Coming soon is the Fun with Bob and Lynn app. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. Hello and shout out to AK Cog, tuning in live. Go Bob. Here we go.
You've been listening to It's Fun with Bob and Lynn. It's fun with Bob and Lynn. You've been listening again. Have you been drinking gin?
I can't stand
it's
gin.
No. It's fun with Bob and
gin.
Lynn. It's fun with Bob and Lynn. It's fun with Bob and Lynn.
Fun with Bob and Lynn. Merry Christmas!
Ho, 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 ho.